Wysteria, energy twister.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So we're on the seas now to the Poems of Dreams and we're on Castle. So if you dream you're something like among castle groves or the moat, I suppose, that could be a sign that you need to look after your welfare. To actually own a castle is a sign of some sort of honour, like a nobility to it. So that's what it meant back then, should I say. So the poem: Hast thou seen that lordly castle, that castle by the sea? Golden and red above it, the clouds float gorgeously, and fain it would stoop downward to the mirrored wave below, and fain it would roar upward in the evening's crimson glow. Well, have I seen that castle by the sea, and the moon above it standing, and the mist rise solemnly. The winds and the waves of ocean, had they a merry chime? Didst thou hear from thou lofty chambers the harp and the minstrel's rhyme? The winds and the waves of the ocean, they rested quietly, but I heard on the gale a sound of wail, and tears came to my eye. And sawest thou on the turrets the king and his royal bride, and the wave of their crimes mantles, and the golden crown of pride? Led they not forth in rapture a beauteous maiden there, resplendent on the morning sun, beaming with golden hair? Well saw I the ancient parents without the crown of pride, though moving slow in weeds of woe, no maiden was by their side. And the next are caverns. To dream of dwelling in a cavern, it signifies that you are not withstanding all your abilities. You are remaining hidden when you should not. You're obscuring something, or you refuse to go forward and you are purposely obscured where you want to go because it sort of scares you, apparently. The poem: We'll dream of caverns in the lonely wild, and dim light glistening from the crystal walls, and o'er the Stygian waters, cold as snow, that wash the statues rude in rock of men, whose battle axes of the flint stone cut clashed in the conflict centuries ago. Such cooling dreams shall charm us, till again we tempt the timid dwellers in the stream, and the day, grown rich as night steals on, like hopes more brightly blooming, 'neath death's noble hour. Hence, hence, loathed melancholy of Cerberus and blackest midnight born, its Stygian cave forlorn, mongst horrid shapes and shreks and sights unholy. Find out some uncouth cell, where brooding darkness spreads her jealous wings, and the night heaven sings. There under upon shades, low-browed rocks, as ragged as thy locks, in dark Cimmerian desert, ever dwell. And the next poem is, ere long they come where the same wicked wight his dwelling has, low in a hollow cave, far underneath a craggy cliff ye pite, dark, doleful, dreary, like a greedy grave. The next poem. One night, my task, diurnal done, for I had travelled with the sun, o'er burning sands, o'er snows. Fatigued I sought the couch of rest, my wanton prayer to heaven addressed. But scarce had I my pillow pressed, when thus the vision rose. Methought within a desert cave, cold, dark, and solemn as a grave, I suddenly awoke. It seemed of sable night, the cell, where, save from the ceiling fell, an oozing drop her silent spell, no sound had ever broke. There, motionless, I stood alone, like some strange monument of stone, upon a barren wild, or, like so solid and profound, the darkness seemed that walling me round, a man that's buried underground, where pyramids are piled. Thus fixed a dreadful hour I passed, and now I heard as from a blast a voice pronounce my name, nor long upon my ear it dwelt, when round me 'gan the air to melt, and motion once again I felt, quick circling o'er my frame. Strange ones. The next is change. So when we dream of change, it's usually a good omen, because it's kind of, we're progressing in life, we're making changes that's needed. However, it depends on, obviously, the circumstances and situation, but change back then was apparently a good omen, especially to women and to invalids, because it meant there was some sort of motivational thing coming to push them forth. So it's very different back then. The poem. Wearied and worn with musings deep, hearing no sound save the rustling of leaves, watching the network the spider weaves, the poet sank down in sleep. Evening's shadows dimmed earth and sky, darkness in vapours apparelled drew near, bearing strange sounds to the slumberer's ear, and visions to mock his eye. Night bears on her forehead a frown. The hurricane's voice is surely and hoarse, as it shakes the trees in its wrathful course, and hurls their proud branches down. Beauty and song and harmless mirth, joyous young forms in the innocent dance, happy young hearts in love's rapturous trance, and peace on the sleeping earth. Prayer in the holy house of God, hearts of humility, penitent tears, hopes of forgiveness contending with fears, and thoughts of the grave screen sought, a vision of future delight, beauty in all things and all things in one. Morning's first welcome smile from the sun, the end of the dreaming night. That's interesting. I do like how different they are, don't get me wrong, I think that's interesting indeed. Children's are next. So apparently, it's like a dream of melancholy. Back then it was, to dream of children would mean sickness, a foreboding. And children running about a house was apparently a sign of domestic troubles. It's very different now, though. It's extremely different, but that's what it was back then. Anyway, the poem. I stood in a dream at the altar, but I was an earthly bride, and Eleanor, thy freedom, was the bridegroom at my side. Thou, Father, gavest me to him with thy free and full consent, and why should I dissemble it? Methought I was content. Months then and years were crowded in the course of that busy night. I clasped a baby to my breast, and oh, with what delight! For he too, in the dreams of night, at the altar had seemed to stand, and to Elamon his freedom had given his daughter's hand. Their offspring courting his caress, about his knee had thronged, a lovely progeny in whom, when he was in the silent tomb, his line should be prolonged. Interesting. Another poem. I in a vision went and saw, from the low grave asunder breaking, a face of beauty smiling, like a baby's in the cradle waking. Very bizarre. And that's the end of this part, guys. We're still on C when we come back, and we're gonna be on church then. Yeah, these poems are very interesting indeed. Very strange, but I like them. Thank you for listening, and many blessings.
Wysteria. Energy. Twister.